Chapter 41 A Big Tree Attracts the Wind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Why did you forget to take some photos? If this were posted online, Xinyu would become famous immediately, Lu Ming said with great annoyance. Zhao Xinyu shook his head, sighing in his heart. Many of the words he prepared were useless. Let's go, eat, and cook a barbecue for you tonight. Jiang and Jinyu appeared in the sky above Xianling. Many villagers also saw it, but they didn't think much about it. After all, Xianling is close to Kaoyang Mountain. The older generation said that there are countless rare animals in Kaoyang Mountain. There are many. They also saw tigers and leopards at the mountain pass, so they were not surprised by the appearance of the 2 big birds, but in the following days, the villagers could see Jiang and Jinyu appearing in the sky above the village every day, and holding pheasants, hares, etc. in their paws. This aroused the vigilance of the villagers. In their imagination, Jinyu captured chickens and rabbits raised by someone else. Just when the villagers were wary of the 2 big birds, news came from Hanli and his friends that the 2 big birds were not coming to the village to poach the chickens and rabbits raised by people. They were coming to repay their kindness, because Zhao Xinyu was in the mountains. Save them. This news surprised the villagers. They were all born and raised in Xianling. Of course, they had heard stories from the older generation about animals repaying kindness, but those were tigers, wolves, etc. They were like the golden eagle repaying kindness. This is the first time I've heard of it. Because of this strange thing, many villagers who raised chickens and ducks at home also went to the compound to have a look. As Hanli and others said, many times they can see 2 large birds over 1 meter high in the compound. They walked back and forth in the courtyard, and every time they came, they would bring pheasants and hares with them. However, the 2 big birds were extremely vigilant, and only Zhao Xinyu could get close to them. The others, including Hanli, would flutter their wings and fly away if they approached even slightly. Today's Xianling is different from the past. There are countless city people who come in and out of Xianling every day. Of course, they can hear the villagers talking. They were also surprised. They also saw Jiang and Jinyu walking in the compound through the gate. Soon the news was uploaded to the internet. In just one day, this news spread all over the internet, and many people rushed to the compound. Every day, countless people gathered outside the compound who wanted to catch a glimpse of Jiang and Jinyu. In the end, not only curious people, but also zoological experts came to the door. After communicating with Zhao Xinyu, they were lucky enough to enter the yard, and then saw Jiang and Jinyu up close. Then through various comparisons, they came to the conclusion that the 2 big birds Zhao Xinyu rescued were not the golden eagles as people had guessed, but the long-extinct raptor Longpeng. The news spread and caused a sensation across the country. Countless people came to check in and take pictures every day, and some even wanted to pay a high price for Zhao Xinyu to capture and sell the 2 dragon pengs to them. Because of the events of Jiang and Jinyu, the compound was known to countless people, and people also knew that the vegetables and fish grown in the compound were delicious, which aroused the jealousy of some people. On this day, people were taking photos of Jiang and Jinyu walking around in the compound through the gate. 2 cars stopped behind the crowd, and then more than 10 people in uniforms got out of the car, led by a man with a big belly. This group of people was not like the others. They broke into the compound as soon as they got off the car, and then they saw the Black Wind like a calf staring at them with a fierce look. Black Wind's roar told Zhao Xinyu, who was practicing, to go out. When he saw more than 10 people at the door, Zhao Xinyu frowned. Who are you? We are the Pengxin Wildlife Protection Organization, and someone has reported that you are suspected of reselling wild animals. Zhao Xinyu was startled, with a hint of weirdness in his eyes. I resell wild animals. It's you who illegally raise endangered wild animals Longpeng and use Longpeng to obtain wild animals for sale. You have violated the law. We must take those 2 Longpeng away and let them return to the wild. You must hand over the illegal gains. A fine of 300,000. After speaking, the pot-bellied middle-aged man's eyes fell on Haifeng next to Zhao Xinyu, and his eyes moved a few times. You are not a dog, right? We suspect that this is also a wild animal that you resold, and we must also use it. Take away. Why are you dazed? Pay the fine first, a young man behind the pot-bellied middle-aged man said angrily. At this point, if Zhao Xinyu can't guess anything, then he is a fool. There are indeed animal protection organizations, but they do not have uniforms. Although these people in front of them are wearing uniforms, their uniforms belong to the urban management. Uniform, and if the Wildlife Protection Organization enforces the law, it will not be brought by the urban management, but by several specialized law enforcement departments, who will issue relevant documents. But now they have nothing, they just have to pay the fine, and at the same time they have to take away Haifeng, Jiang, and Xinyu. Obviously, these people came here with impure intentions. There was such a scene. Many people in front of the door raised their shooting tools. This immediately aroused dissatisfaction among the middle-aged man. He turned around and said angrily, "What are you doing? You are not allowed to take pictures." Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly, and patted the black wind beside him. "I think you are mistaken. The country does ban the breeding of protected animals in captivity, but dogs do not belong to the category of wild animals, and I have applied for a dog breeding license. Since you are as an animal protection organization, you can't insist on describing dogs as protected animals. I want to see your law enforcement procedures. Who the hell do you think you are? Handle him and seize Long Peng and this dog first." The dozen or so people who followed immediately turned around and returned to the car. They took down several large nets, and two people rushed towards Zhao Xinyu, trying to control Zhao Xinyu. Zhao Xinyu, who had practiced the Hongmeng scripture, was now agile and within their control, and the three of them instantly struggled together. Haifeng, Jiang and Xinyu saw something happen to Zhao Xinyu. How could they endure it? Zhao Xinyu became anxious when he saw that Haifeng, Jiang and Xinyu were about to take action. Jiang and Xinyu could return to Kaiyang Mountain at any time, but Haifeng was different. If he hurt someone, he would definitely be killed. Take away. Haifeng, take them away, quickly. Haifeng, Jiang, and Xinyu, who had already rushed over, were slightly startled. They immediately understood what Zhao Xinyu meant. Jiang and Xinyu flapped their wings and flew towards Kaiyang Mountain in the distance, while Haifeng rushed to the gate. Those who were setting up the net saw Haifeng rushing over, and the two big nets were covering Haifeng at the same time. Zhao Xinyu here saw something bad. He threw away the two people who wanted to control him, and grabbed one of the nets. The man pushed him to the ground, but the next moment, he felt a pain in his head. When he turned his head, he saw the face of the middle-aged man, holding a thick wooden stick in his hand. The moment before Zhao Xinyu lost consciousness, he saw Haifeng with a fierce look in his eyes. He shouted as hard as he could, "Haifeng, don't hurt anyone," and then fainted. People at the gate saw Haifeng roaring in the sky. His eyes turned red, his huge body twisted, and he hit the middle-aged man with a big belly. How could the middle-aged man, who was empty of wine and sex, bear the collision of Haifeng, who was as big as a calf? He was knocked out more than 10 meters by Haifeng and fell heavily into the vegetable field and fainted. Seeing how ferocious Black Wind was, those who set up the nets panicked. They threw away the big nets and turned around to run away, but Black Wind would not give them any chance at all. Their huge bodies bumped around without using their big claws and sharp weapons. Teeth. Within a few minutes, all 10 people were knocked to the ground by him. The people who originally saw Haifeng going crazy and running away found that Haifeng was only targeting those people. Even if he passed by them, Haifeng would not hurt them. This moved and surprised them. After they saw the Black Wind knocking those people unconscious, they immediately returned to Zhao Xinyu, making low roars and pushing Zhao Xinyu with their big paws. At this time, everyone's eyes were full of shock. This big dog was too smart. The owner didn't let him hurt people, but he didn't use claws or sharp teeth, but he used his huge body to kill people. Those people were knocked unconscious. If this happened, who would believe it? Even if the real law enforcement agencies came, they would not be able to take away the big dogs. After all, dogs only hurt people with their teeth, but now there are no bites on these people. There are no traces of them, so it cannot be said that the big dog hurt them. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 42 Jiang Pengxin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. When people uploaded the captured videos to the internet, police sirens sounded from a distance, and a little boy of 12 or 13 years old glanced at Black Wind. Come on, your master is fine, you can't be caught by them. The growling Haifeng looked up at the little boy, then looked down at Zhao Xinyu. He roared again, moved out of the door and disappeared quickly. That night, Zhao Xinyu woke up from a coma. He saw Han Li and Han Tianlang, and then he thought of something. Where are Han Li, Haifeng and the others? People in the village said that Black Wind ran into Kaoyang Mountain. Zhao Xinyu sighed, where are those people? They were all arrested. According to witnesses, those people are all idle scoundrels in the city. They want to use their status as urban management officials to extort money. Now the internet is overwhelmingly supporting you. By the way, more people are. He praised Haifeng and said that Haifeng was smarter than anyone else. If you didn't let him hurt others, he would use his body. Those people were knocked unconscious by Haifeng. Who is that fat man? That guy is really from an animal protection organization, but he is just an ordinary employee. He has no right to enforce the law at all. Everything they do is uploaded to the internet. He extorted 300,000 yuan. Even if he cannot be sentenced, my job will definitely be lost. 3 days later, the police announced that all those people were under criminal detention, and Zhao Xinyu was the victim. Those detained were responsible for all medical expenses. Black Wind did not bite anyone, and he would not be taken away. Zhao Xinyu returned to the compound with a thick bandage on his head. Compared with before, there was no Haifeng running around in the compound, no Jin Hen and Jinyu, and there were not many people in front of the door. Zhao Xinyu, good job, we support you. Zhao Xinyu saw a little boy of 12 or 13 years old, but he was not standing when speaking, but sitting in a wheelchair. The person pushing the little boy was a 3-year-old boy. A middle-aged woman in her teens. The next moment he looked at the little boy, Zhao Xinyu thought of a video he had watched. In the video, a little boy's voice told Haizi to run. Now that he heard this voice, he immediately knew that this little boy was the one who made Haizi run that day. The owner of the running sound, Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly and looked at the little boy, thank you. Do you want to come in and sit down? I want to, the little boy said without any thought, with a hint of excitement. After finishing speaking, he turned to look at the middle-aged woman, Mom, I want to go into the compound and have a look. The middle-aged woman looked at Zhao Xinyu and said politely, thank you. In the eyes of many people with envy, the middle-aged woman pushed the little boy into the yard, and saw the vegetables that everyone envied at close range. The little boy kept exclaiming excitedly, and the camera in his hand kept flashing. Under the grape trellis, Zhao Xinyu placed the cut watermelons, melons and grapes on the table, and gave 2 pieces of watermelon to the little boy and the middle-aged woman. The 2 of them took a bite and their eyes widened. Apparently they had never eaten such delicious watermelon before. Zhao Xinyu, do you know that you are now an internet celebrity? The vegetables and fruits you grow have a special taste, and you also have a big dog like Black Wind who is smarter than humans. Zhao Xinyu chuckled, raised his hand and stroked the little boy's head a few times. I don't know your name yet. Jiang Pengxin, that's my mother Chu Qianfan. Zhao Xinyu nodded, picked up the grapes and handed them to Chu Qianfan and Jiang Pengxin. Of course, the 2 were as surprised as eating watermelons. They knew that the food in the compound tasted great, but the watermelons and grapes were not for sale, and they had no way to taste them. Chu Qianfan was not like Jiang Pengxin. Although watermelon, grapes and cantaloupe tasted delicious, she only ate a little and looked at Jiang Pengxin who was devouring the melon with loving eyes. Sister, Xiaopeng, this is. When Zhao Xinyu asked, Chu Qianfan's expression dimmed instantly, and his eyes fell on Jiang Pengxin for a long time. When Xiaopeng was 10 years old, he had a car accident on his way home from school. The perpetrator escaped. He could not stand up from that time. In the past 3 years, his father and I took him to various hospitals. It was said that Xiaopeng had completely recovered, but the reason why he couldn't stand up was because his nerves were damaged, and it would take a miracle for him to stand up again. Although we have been helping him recover, his muscles are still shrinking. Some experts say that if an effective treatment cannot be found within 5 years, he will have no chance to stand up even if his nerves recover in the future. Mom, this is good. Stop running around. In the past few years, you have lost your job, sold your house and car, and now my father is still working on the construction site for me. I don't want to see it anymore. Chu Qianfan touched Jiang Pengxin's head. Silly boy, you are our hope. If there is a glimmer of hope, we will not give up. A few days ago, we heard that there is a miracle doctor in Lu province. We will wait for the next month. If your father provides the capital, we will take you there. Xiaopeng, I have also studied Chinese medicine for a few days. Let me help you. Zhao Xinyu's words stunned Chu Qianfan and his son. Have you studied Chinese medicine? Chu Qianfan asked with a hint of surprise. Zhao Xinyu chuckled and said, I am a graduate of our Pengxin University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Maybe it's because my grades are not good. There is no traditional Chinese medicine hospital that wants me, so I have no choice but to grow vegetables and raise fish. Chu Qianfan's eyes flickered a few times and said, Xiaopeng, let your uncle take your pulse. Jiang Pengxin obediently put his hands on the table. Zhao Xinyu took a tissue and wiped his hands. He took a deep breath and put a finger on Jiang Pengxin's wrist. Chu Qianfan next to him narrowed his eyes slightly. In the past 3 years, he had not seen many Western medicine doctors or Chinese medicine doctors. The diagnosis results disappointed him. In fact, the couple was already a little desperate, but in order to save the child even if they can recover, they are desperate and will take their children out as long as they have money. Now seeing Zhao Xinyu's unique pulse diagnosis technique, for some reason, Chu Qianfan, who was already desperate, suddenly felt a sense of hope in his heart. For more than 10 minutes, Zhao Xinyu retracted his fingers, squatted down, pinched Jiang Pengxin's legs with his big hands, and asked these seemingly ordinary words. Zhao Xinyu, don't read it. Every doctor is like you. I can memorize it without you asking. Xiaopeng, why are you so rude? You called me uncle. Jiang Pengxin stuck out his tongue and made a face at Zhao Xinyu. Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly and said, wait a moment. After a while, Zhao Xinyu came over with a box of silver needles and said, Xiaopeng, let me give you acupuncture. See if there is any reaction. If there is any reaction, let me know. In just a few breaths, Jiang Pengxin inserted no less than 50 silver needles into one leg. As a breeze blew by, Zhao Xinyu raised his hand and flicked the tail of each silver needle at an extremely fast speed. The silver needle made a buzzing sound instantly. The next moment, Jiang Pengxin shuddered, it's so cold, Mom, this leg. As soon as he spoke, a layer of mist suddenly welled up in Chu Qianfan's eyes. After 3 years of constant running, Jiang Pengxin had never felt like he did today. Whether it was acupuncture or cutting with a knife, Jiang Pengxin didn't feel anything. Today, he felt something in his legs, which she couldn't help but feel. When the silver needle stopped trembling, Zhao Xinyu flicked the tail of the needle at an extremely fast speed. When the silver needle buzzed again, Jiang Pengxin shouted again. Hot, so hot. This time Chu Qianfan couldn't bear it anymore and burst into tears. The 3 years of depression finally came out at this moment. Hearing his mother crying, Jiang Pengxin reached out to hold her mother's hand and turned to look at Zhao Xinyu. Uncle, do I have hope? Yes, but the chance is not too high. While speaking, he turned to look at Chu Qianfan. Sister, I'm trying to diagnose and treat him, but I can't guarantee that he can fully recover. A few percent sure. Less than 40%. We don't have much money on hand. You can give us a rough number and we will find a way. No need, I have Chinese medicine here. By the way, what does eldest brother do? I used to work as an accountant in a group, but now I do odd jobs. Let's do this. Let him come over to help me at farmhouse and preserve vegetables. After deducting my medical fees, I will give each of you 3,000 a month. When I finish treating Xiaopeng, you can leave at any time. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 43, Is it effective? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Okay, I'll call him right now. About 40 minutes later, a middle-aged man who looked very lonely hurried into the compound. When he saw his excited wife, he asked with a hint of joy. Where is the miracle doctor you mentioned? It's him, Chu Qianfan pointed at Zhao Xinyu. The middle-aged uncle was slightly startled, with a trace of doubt in his eyes. The miracle doctor in his impression was not a gray-haired one. How old was Zhao Xinyu? He was in his 20s. How could he be a miracle doctor? How much does it cost to diagnose and treat my son? He didn't believe it, and he didn't speak politely. Jiang Fei, what are you talking about? Zhao Xinyu made it easier for us to take care of our son. He asked you and me to work at his farmhouse and preserve vegetables. In addition to treating his son, he also gave each of us a salary of 3,000 yuan every month. Jiang Fei was stunned at this moment. He looked at Zhao Xinyu with a trace of confusion. Zhao Xinyu nodded to him with a smile. I dare not say that I can make Xiaopeng recover. If you work here, you can at least take care of Xiaopeng. If I can't have an effect here, you can take him to other places to make money. Understanding what Zhao Xinyu meant, Jiang Fei nodded to him with a hint of gratitude, thank you. At this moment, Jiang Fei suddenly felt the urge to cry. By the way, where is Xiaopeng's injury? All major hospitals have shown that he has recovered, but he. According to traditional Chinese medicine, Xiaopeng's meridians are damaged. I want to recuperate her for a while. If it works, there is a high chance that he will stand up. I'll prepare whatever you need. These words made Jiang Fei even more excited, but he forgot that he didn't have much money in his hands now. I have Chinese medicine here. Just go out and buy a big wooden barrel. I remember they are sold in local products nearby. When Jiang Fei bought back the barrel, Zhao Xinyu had already prepared Chinese herbal medicine. He asked Jiang Fei to set up the barrel and fill it half with water. Then light a fire under the barrel. After the barrel steamed, Zhao Xinyu poured the Chinese herbal medicine into the barrel. As the strong smell of medicine filled the air, the liquid in the barrel began to boil. Brother Jiang, put Xiaopeng into the barrel. At this moment, Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan were shocked at the same time. They looked at the boiling wooden barrel and then at Zhao Xinyu. If their son was put in, his legs might not be cured and he would be cooked. Zhao Xinyu laughed and put his hand into the boiling liquid. The temperature is about the same as bath water. It's okay. Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan were hesitant and tried it. As Zhao Xinyu said, the temperature of the liquid was similar to that of people taking a bath. Then they put Jiang Pengxin into the barrel. Cool, mine seems to be frozen. Less than 3 minutes after putting it in the barrel, Jiang Pengxin said loudly, which made Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan excited and burst into tears. Brother Jiang, take 20 minutes. From now on, soak in the liquid for 20 minutes every day. If Xiaopeng feels his legs are hot, I will give him another prescription. When he can feel hot and cold at the same time, he will be able to fully rehabilitation. Jiang Fei heard what Zhao Xinyu said and knelt down in front of Zhao Xinyu. Before he could say anything, Zhao Xinyu hurriedly helped him up. Brother Jiang, what are you doing? If Xiaopeng hadn't let Heifeng go that day, Heifeng would have been taken away by them long ago. We are also destined. Uncle, where is Black Wind? Why didn't you see him? Zhao Xinyu chuckled and pointed to Kaiyang Mountain in the distance. Heifeng should be in Kaiyang Mountain, and he may be back in a few days. And at the next moment, a loud bird song came, and a smile appeared on Zhao Xinyu's face. Jin Hen and Jin, you are back, and Heizi should be here soon. But just as Zhao Xinyu finished speaking, a low roar came from outside the hospital, and a big guy rushed in from the outside. It was the Heifeng mentioned just now. Heifeng was slightly startled when he saw Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan in the courtyard, but when he saw Jiang Pengxin in the barrel, his eyes instantly showed a trace of kindness, and his huge body arrived in front of the barrel in an instant. Although Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan were afraid in their hearts, when they saw this scene, they still subconsciously blocked Jiang Pengxin behind them. Obviously, they were worried that Black Wind would hurt Jiang Pengxin. Heifeng turned to look at Zhao Xinyu, with a trace of questioning in his eyes. Zhao Xinyu chuckled, brother Jiang, Xiaopeng helped Heifeng, and Heifeng will not hurt him. Thinking about the video his wife showed him that day, Jiang Fei moved away with a trace of confusion. He saw Heifeng coming to the barrel, looking at Jiang Pengxin in the barrel, and growling at him a few times. Jiang Pengxin chuckled. He reached out to touch Heifeng, but Heifeng dodged and touched his hand with his big tongue. This time, Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan were completely relieved, but their hearts were filled with shock. They all knew that their son just yelled that day, but they didn't expect to be remembered by this big and humane dog. The rumors were indeed true. This dog's IQ was already comparable to that of humans. The return of Heifeng, Jin Hen, and Jinyu, and everything that happened in the courtyard, were uploaded to the internet by people outside the compound. While people were excited, they suddenly had a doubt in their hearts, that is, who Zhao Xinyu really is. Is he still a doctor? While people were discussing, the courtyard also returned to calm, but Zhao Xinyu had an ominous feeling that there might be a bigger conspiracy waiting for him later. In a luxuriously decorated office, a middle-aged man with a big belly was walking around the room, his face full of fear. If Zhao Xinyu was in the office, he would be able to recognize it at a glance. This middle-aged man was the person he brought with him that day. The person from the so-called animal organization who went to the compound. At this moment, he no longer had the arrogance that he had that day. He didn't talk about it until the matter was done. He lost his job, and more people are now digging for his background. As the door rang, a young man in his mid-20s came in from the outside. The young man had a handsome appearance, but his eyes were full of frivolity. The young man entered the door. When he saw the middle-aged man, his face instantly turned livid. Without saying a word, the middle-aged man received a hard slap in the face. The middle-aged man staggered back a few steps, covered his swollen face, and whispered, Master Hu, I. Right away, you are such a fucking waste. You can do such a simple thing, so you can't bring some people from the animal organization, but you have to bring a few urban management officials. It's good now, everyone is paying attention to that. A pair of dragon rocks, how did I get them? Do you know that I lost more than 3 million because of your stupidity? Master Hu, I will try to find a way to get the pair of dragon pangs. By the way, the dog he has there is also extraordinary. The young man snorted coldly, what else can you do? I know all about this. Now many people are paying attention to this matter. I must think of a foolproof plan. Find someone to watch over there for me. If the dog leaves yard, find a way to bring it back to me. Zhao Xinyu, are you okay? I went out to do some errands in the past few days. Du Mengnan hurried over this day, his face full of guilt. It's okay, just a little scratch. Who is this? Under the grape trellis, Du Mengnan saw Jiang Pengxin. This is Jiang Pengxin. He had a car accident on his leg and couldn't stand up. I'm helping him with treatment these days. You. His words made Du Mengnan slightly stunned, with a trace of surprise in his eyes. He knew that Zhao Xinyu had good medical skills, but he never thought that he would dare to treat a patient who was paralyzed in a car accident. You're sure? Somewhat therapeutic. Auntie, Uncle said that there is an 80% chance that I can stand up again. You don't know, in the past few years. Perhaps because his legs have hope, Jiang Pengxin, who is sent to the compound by his parents every day, also talks more. He talked about his experiences in the past 3 years. After listening to what Jiang Pengxin said, Du Mengnan was deeply touched. For a child who was judged by all doctors to have almost no chance of standing up, Zhao Xinyu dared to treat a child and had feeling in his legs in just a few days. What does this mean? This guy's Chinese medicine skills are really extraordinary. If Zhao Xinyu can really make Jiang Pengxin stand up again, then this guy will really create a miracle in the history of medicine. Is this guy really a poor boy from the countryside? At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 44 The Cornerstone of Your Career. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Surprised, Du Mengnan suddenly saw that the grapes on the grape rack were sparse. Your grapes are for sale. When he said this, there was a hint of resentment in Du Mengnan's tone. You must know that when the grapes are ripe, she also wanted to buy the grapes, but Zhao Xinyu refused. He said the grapes would not be sold. She had only been out for about half a month, and the grapes were almost half gone. Zhao Xinyu and the others simply couldn't eat so many grapes. How could that be? If I sell my grapes, you still have to tear my place apart. I make wine. Du Mengnan glanced at him speechlessly. You can make wine, you know how to make wine. Du Mengnan's words were full of disbelief. Zhao Xinyu laughed and said, you will know after a while. By the way, you don't like bitter vegetables. There are bitter vegetables in the vegetable field. You can pick as much as you want. What? Du Mengnan looked at the vegetable field not far away. He saw fresh and tender wild vegetables with water drops hanging in the vegetable field. When Du Mengnan saw the patches of mother-in-law and bitter vegetables in the vegetable field, she became excited and forgot about Zhao Xinyu's wine-making. You must know that when Zhao Xinyu came back from his hometown last time, he brought back a lot of wild vegetables, fungus, etc. No matter which kind they were, they couldn't forget to leave. But now they are still missing the taste of the wild vegetables that Zhao Xinyu cooked for them. Zhao Xinyu also said that he would try to plant wild vegetables in the courtyard. They took it as a joke, but they didn't expect this guy to actually plant wild vegetables. At this time, there are no wild vegetables for sale in the market, but the wild vegetables in the vegetable field have just grown up. If these wild vegetables are brought to the hotel, they will definitely become a hit. Zhao Xinyu, find someone right away to pick 100 pounds for me. Of course Zhao Xinyu knew that Du Mengnan must be purchasing for Pengxin Hotel. Until now, he has been wondering about the relationship between Du Mengnan and Pengxin Hotel, and why she always thinks about Pengxin Hotel. Many times, Zhao Xinyu even wondered whether the Pengxin Hotel was owned by Du Mengnan's family, otherwise why would she be so enthusiastic? However, due to the habits developed over many years, Zhao Xinyu was doubtful, but he never asked. In the following period, due to the emergence of wild vegetables, farmhouses, preserved vegetables and Pengxin hotels have a delicious taste that makes people nostalgic, because the food grown in the compound tastes much better than the same kind. This makes many colleagues jealous. They once thought that the vegetables grown in the compound were some new varieties, but they also asked, in addition to the vegetables grown in the compound, such delicious food has not appeared in other places many times, which makes them very helpless. In the end, people uncovered many past events about Zhao Xinyu. As a top student at a University of Traditional Chinese Medicine, many traditional Chinese medicine hospitals had extended olive branches to him, but he rejected them all. This made many people suddenly realize that the cultivation of such delicious vegetables is not related to traditional Chinese medicine. Then someone posted a post saying that in the past glorious era of traditional Chinese medicine, the vegetables grown by traditional Chinese medicine families were indeed better than those grown by others. It tastes better. At the same time, people in traditional Chinese medicine stores also confirmed that Zhao Xinyu once purchased a large amount of Chinese herbal medicine in their store. Many people have speculated that the reason why Zhao Xinyu can grow such delicious vegetables is inseparable from traditional Chinese medicine, but the person involved, Zhao Xinyu, did not make any response, which made them even more convinced that Zhao Xinyu must have some ancient Chinese medicine prescription in his hand. Using this prescription to grow vegetables would give them the taste they have now, but what they don't know is that after years of working hard for a living, although Zhao Xinyu has a mobile phone, he rarely goes to see it, and he has no interest in going to see it. When people were talking about it on the internet, Jiang Pengxin's legs finally felt hot and cold. When Jiang Pengxin shouted hot and cold, not only Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan, but also Zhao Xinyu was happy for their family. Looking at the family hugging each other and crying, Zhao Xinyu felt happy but also horrified. The method of diagnosis and treatment he gave Jiang Pengxin was obtained from the essence of the golden chamber. The reason why I didn't dare to say that I was too sure at the beginning was because the prescription for the essence of the golden chamber was too common. The prescription given to Jiang Pengxin did not contain any precious herbs. Every Chinese medicine can be easily purchased in any drugstore. Thinking of the essence of the golden chamber, he suddenly thought of the prescription that restored him to his original state, and his heart suddenly became excited. If every prescription was so miraculous, then the re-emergence of Chinese medicine would not be a problem at all. Xinyu, how can we thank you? While Jiang Fei's family was excited, Jiang Fei looked at Zhao Xinyu, his eyes full of gratitude. Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly and said, "Brother Jiang, this should be a medical miracle. Don't say anything grateful. After Xiaopeng recovers, you can find another employer to work again." Jiang Fei shook his head and sighed, "I have been working hard in the past 10 years and have never made a mistake. But after Xiaopeng's accident, I wanted to borrow some money from the company, but they refused to lend me money because I was late several times. I fired you, I decided, and I will do it for you from now on. At least you don't have that kind of intrigue here, and you don't have to worry about someone trying to put on your shoes." Jiang Fei's words made Zhao Xinyu startled. During this period, he also got to know Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan. Both of them graduated from prestigious universities. Before Jiang Pengxin's accident, they both worked in a well-known group company in Pengxin. Now Jiang Fei said that he would follow him, which surprised Zhao Xinyu. What could he do if he followed him, whether it was picking vegetables, buying vegetables, or carrying dishes and washing dishes? Seeing the change in Zhao Xinyu's expression, Jiang Fei smiled faintly and said, "Xinyu, I have carefully considered this matter. Although you only have one preserved vegetable and one farmhouse now, your monthly income is no less than that of a small company, and Hanli and the others, if you don't understand account management at all, it will be of no benefit to your future development." Jiang Fei explained this, and Zhao Xinyu immediately felt relieved. They must believe in the character of Hanli and the others, but they had no idea about their daily income. If something happened to Hanli and the others, it might not be possible for someone else. "Brother Jiang, you're right. That's okay. You can help with the accounting. You don't have to worry about the rest for now. By the way, Sister Qian seems to have been in personnel management before. I'll leave everything to you. The salary is temporarily just like Hanli and others." Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan looked at each other and nodded. "Xinyu, how will Xiaopeng diagnose and treat him next?" "Acupuncture stimulates the meridians and allows the meridians to repair themselves. Xiaopeng will be able to recover as before in a month at most." "Uncle, I want to learn Chinese medicine from you. When you give me acupuncture, it is sometimes hot and sometimes cool. That is something I have never felt before." Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly. "That's the burning mountain fire and the cooling of the heart in acupuncture. If you want to learn Chinese medicine, you have to be able to endure loneliness. I have studied these two acupuncture techniques for 6 years. You have to think carefully. No, I don't like children who give up halfway. I am willing. I will save lives and help the wounded like my uncle in the future." Zhao Xinyu looked at Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan. During this time, he also liked Jiang Pengxin, but after all, he was still a child, so he had to consider his parents' opinions. "Xinyu, although Xiaopeng is small, he has experienced the ups and downs of the world in the past 3 years. I don't expect him to have much success. I will be satisfied if he can be like you as a person. When Zhao Xinyu heard what Jiang Fei said, he nodded heavily. When he looked at Jiang Pengxin, his expression became serious. Xiaopeng, since you are willing to learn Chinese medicine, there is one condition, that is, you can't do anything in cultural classes. Next, you will have a choice in the future. Uncle, I understand. Zhao Xinyu laughed and touched Jiang Pengxin's head. Come on, I'll give you acupuncture right now. Wait a minute, Xinyu. Zhao Xinyu turned to look in the direction of the door. He saw an old man in his 80s coming in. The old man was none other than Chu Qianfan's father-in-law, He Mansang. Grandpa He, what's the matter? Every day in the past 2 days, people have come to inquire. They want to fish in Luoshui. Just now, another group of people came. They are still over there in Luoshui. They asked me to come and ask. They said, the fish in Luoshui it tastes good, and you can give us 300 for a day of fishing. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 45, A Forbidden Area for Fishing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Zhao Xinyu was also stunned when he heard what He Mansang said. He did not expect that Luoshui would attract the attention of fishing friends in just a few months, but I feel relieved when I think about it. Apart from Pengxin Hotel, the only way to eat delicious fish in Luoshui is preserved vegetables and farmhouses in the village. Recently, some people are filming videos in the village every day. Luoshui attracts a lot of attention. Normal. Okay, please tell them to pay attention to safety. I will find someone to go over and maintain order. Remember not to let the children in the village go to Luoshui. After He Mansang left, Zhao Xinyu immediately called Han Tianyang and asked him to find a few villagers who knew water skills to go to Luoshui, firstly to protect the safety of fishing friends, and secondly to collect their fishing fees. A very professional-looking fisherman on the Luoshui River walked towards a middle-aged fishing friend not far away from him with a depressed face. Brother, how was the harvest? The middle-aged man looked up at the fishing friend who was asking the question. With a hint of helplessness on his face, it's really strange today. I can't find the fishing hole. I changed the bait 3 times. It took more than 3 hours, not to mention the big fish. I haven't caught a single fish, even crucian carp. How are you doing over there? Like you, I have been fishing for 7 or 8 years, and this is the first time like today. You see, the fish in the water are not biting the hook at all. I just went to other places, and they had no harvest like us. They were depressed, and the people in other fishing positions were also a little crazy. The people who came to fish this time were all fishing enthusiasts. In their free time, they went back to different places to fish, not to mention that every time they are rewarded, at least they don't come back empty-handed. But this time it's strange. No matter how they change fishing positions and baits, the fish in the water don't seem to feel the fragrance of the bait. For most of the day, I didn't catch a single fish. Zhao Xinyu, who was outside the gap in the east wall of the compound, was also watching the fishing situation. He could see the changes in the expressions of the fishermen. Of course he knew the reason for this. The fish in Luoshui eat fresh vegetable leaves from their own compound every day. What does the vegetable leaves taste like? Of course they disdain to eat the mixed bait. What surprised Zhao Xinyu was that he used to be a little short-sighted, but now he could clearly see the changes in the expressions of the people across from Luoshui, not to mention the people nearby, which surprised him at the changes in his eyesight. And he couldn't imagine how his eyesight could become so sharp. In the end, he could only attribute it to this magical space. Apart from space, he really couldn't think of any reason why his vision had changed like this. On this day, there were more than 40 people fishing, but except for one person who lost a carp weighing 4 to 5 kilograms, the rest returned empty-handed. People who love fishing also have their own circles. The news spread throughout the circles of fishing enthusiasts that night, and many of the people who posted the message were fishing experts. People who love fishing were also surprised. They have their own hobbies. Encountering such a situation certainly aroused their curiosity. Many people agreed to go to Luoshui to give it a try tomorrow. The next day, after Zhao Xinyu gave Jiang Pengxin acupuncture, he pushed Jiang Pengxin under the grape trellis and got some grapes and watermelons for Jiang Pengxin. He went out through the gap in the east wall, and then froze there. He saw that there were a lot of people fishing around Luoshui. It was estimated that there were at least more than 200 people, and all those who came yesterday were here without exception. More than half an hour later, he saw the fishing people gathering in groups just like yesterday, seeming to be discussing something, but more people were speechless. It was obvious that they were fishing. Unsatisfactory, because there were too many people fishing, Zhao Xinyu saw Hanli walking around and asked fishing enthusiasts to pay attention from time to time. More than 200 fishermen appeared at once, which also attracted people's attention, including those who did good things. Live video shooting right next to Luoshui, therefore, more people know about the situation in Luoshui, and countless people also know that fishing masters have been unable to catch a single crucian carp for several hours. Among them are many well-known figures in the fishing circle. Seeing that one day passed, more than 200 people were able to catch fish, which was really nothing. This made people who came to fish crazy. They asked experts through live broadcast platforms and the internet for advice on how to catch fish in Luoshui. It was on this night that more people who liked fishing became aware of this little-known place called Luoshui in Xianling, Pengxin. In the following days, more than 300 people came to fish every day, and the maximum number of people on one day reached 600, but only a few people could actually catch fish. In fact, anglers have the same mentality as gamblers. The harder they catch, the more competitive they are. In the end, as long as someone catches a fish, even a crucian carp, they will show it off in their circle of friends. Long time, Luoshui suddenly became a gathering place for fishing enthusiasts. However, for many fishing experts, Luoshui also became a place of sadness. Within a month, all the famous fishing friends from across the country were in Luoshui. Return with broken feathers, because the fish in Luoshui are too difficult to catch. Some people even called on the country to arrange the fishing competition in Luoshui. The one who can win the championship in Luoshui is the real first person. 1 month flies by in a blink of an eye for fishing friends, but it is a long wait for Jiang Pengxin's family of 3. Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan don't know how many times they have to ask questions every day. They just want to see their son return to fishing. Stand up. On this day, after Zhao Xinyu diagnosed Jiang Pengxin's pulse, he patted Jiang Pengxin on the shoulder and said, "Okay, stand up and try." Zhao Xinyu's words made the air freeze for a moment. The eyes of Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan fell on Jiang Pengxin. Their lips kept trembling. They held their breath to see if their son could stand up. Jiang Pengxin took a deep breath, pressed the armrests of the wheelchair with both hands, and slowly exerted force. After standing up, Jiang Pengxin sat back in the wheelchair. "Master, I don't have any strength in my legs." Zhao Xinyu laughed and said, "After sitting for more than 3 years, no one has the strength. Brother Jiang and sister Qian, please help Xiaopeng and walk around. Don't walk for too long. It only takes half an hour. He will recover in a few days." Normal. When the 2 men helped their son up and saw his son taking the first step, they burst into tears. For their son, they sold their house, their car, and lost their jobs. They just wanted their son to stand up again. At this moment, I stared at him for more than 1,300 days. "Ah!" an exclamation came, and the 4 people turned their heads at the same time. They saw Du Mengnan covering his mouth and looking at Jiang Pengxin. "Xiaopeng, you can leave." Du Mengnan's eyes were full of horror. She had come here frequently during this period and was familiar with the family of 3. She had also heard about Jiang Pengxin. In her imagination, it would be good if Zhao Xinyu could make Jiang Pengxin better, but she did not expect that Jiang Pengxin could really stand up again. "Aunt Meng, I can leave." Okay, it'll be good if you can leave." At this moment, Du Mengnan was also so excited that her eyes filled with tears. While excited, Du Mengnan suddenly looked at Zhao Xinyu. his eyes bursting with brilliance, which made Zhao Xinyu stunned. Meng, what are you? Unexpectedly, Du Mengnan turned around and left without saying a word. But this time, instead of walking as usual, he left at a trot. Dream, Du Mengnan waved his hand towards him but said nothing. Xinyu, are you and Meng having a conflict? Zhao Xinyu shook his head. No, you were there when she came over. She didn't come over after that. In the Du family, Du Gang and his wife were walking in the courtyard. Suddenly there was a sound from the gate, and they saw a sports car driving into the courtyard. Du Gang laughed. Meng must have left something at home. The old lady also smiled lightly. Yongchang and his wife are cautious in doing things. This girl doesn't know who she is following. She does everything in a hurry and carelessly. Go back and take a look. She didn't put things properly. Maybe I know. But when they walked towards the villa, they saw that Du Mengnan did not go back to the villa after getting off the car, but ran towards them, which made the two of them even more stunned. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 46 First Meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Meng, what's wrong? Grandpa, let me tell you something. After listening to Du Mengnan's words, Du Gang's expression became extremely serious, and his eyes kept flickering. Obviously he was thinking about something. Of course he knew about the Pengxin First People's Hospital. It was the best hospital in the Pengxin area. The experts and doctors there were very famous not only in the country but also in the world. He also knew about the incident last year. A person who was judged by experts as having no hope of survival miraculously survived. This was already a medical miracle. A person who had no chance of recovery, even plastic surgery could not change his appearance, now relies on traditional Chinese medicine to restore his appearance, not only his appearance, but also his lame leg. No one would believe this if he told it, but he believed in his granddaughter. Although her granddaughter was often messy, she would never lie to others. He believed what her granddaughter said. Now a child who had been to hospitals all over the country without any improvement was treated by this young man and allowed him to stand and walk again. Both of these two things are beyond common sense and can be called a miracle among miracles. Moreover, the two things happened to the same person. What does this mean? This young man possesses extraordinary Chinese medicine skills. If this were him, he would definitely not have any idea and directly find the young man his granddaughter mentioned. But his old leader is not an ordinary person, not to mention a young man with no background. Even if a reputable Chinese or Western medicine doctor wants to get in touch with that family, they have to go through layers of checks. You can indeed go there with him, but the problem is that if something goes wrong, you will become a sinner for the ages. Meng, this matter is of great importance. Please allow me to communicate. Grandpa and Grandma Luo were notified of critical illness. I can vouch for Zhao Xinyu's character. He said that all his medical skills were given to him by his grandfather. I went to visit Grandma Luo some time ago and gave them to my aunt and the others. Qingcheng was also deployed by Zhao Xinyu. Du Gang was stunned for a moment, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. You said the ointment you used was prepared by him. Yes, Du Gang's eyes flickered a few times. Okay, you go find the child immediately and take him to the airport. Remember, don't tell him who to see a doctor. At the gap in the east wall, Zhao Xinyu stood watching the fishermen as usual. In the courtyard, Jiang Fei and Chu Qianfan supported Jiang Pengxin in his rehabilitation training. Different from the beginning, although Jiang Pengxin could not exert any strength on his legs at this moment, he could at least stand up. But he could only stand for a minute or two at most. But just like this, Jiang Fei and his wife were already excited. You know, in the past, they couldn't stand for even a second, not to mention a minute. Brother Jiang, Sister Qian, where is Zhao Xinyu? The 3 of them turned their heads at the same time, and they saw Du Mengnan, who had just left not long ago, return again, and his expression was extremely solemn. Jiang Fei pointed to the east wall. Xinyu is watching people fishing. But as soon as he finished speaking, Du Mengnan rushed to the east wall. This made Jiang Fei and his wife look at each other. They really didn't know what happened to Du Mengnan today. Zhao Xinyu, come with me. Outside the east wall, Zhao Xinyu saw Du Mengnan coming. He was about to ask what happened, but Du Mengnan didn't give him any chance to ask, so he grabbed him and left. It wasn't until Du Mengnan pulled him into the car that Zhao Xinyu had the chance to speak. Meng, where are we going? One of my elders is sick, please help me get him checked out. Ah, Zhao Xinyu was stunned. He could see that Du Mengnan had an extraordinary background. Now that an elder in the family was sick, he asked himself, a second-hand doctor who was not even qualified to practice medicine, to see a doctor. This made him unable to react for a while. Come. Who is it? Don't ask anything when you go, just see a doctor. If you are sure about medical treatment, if you are not sure, don't say anything. These words made Zhao Xinyu even more confused, but he also heard that the situation of this elder mentioned by Du Mengnan should not be optimistic. At Pengxin airport, Zhao Xinyu was completely confused. Meng, I didn't even bring my ID card. You don't have to worry about it. At the entrance of the airport, Zhao Xinyu saw two stern-looking middle-aged men. The middle-aged men were wearing very ordinary clothes, but Zhao Xinyu felt a murderous aura from them, and their waists were bulging. Zhao Xinyu turned around glancing at Du Mengnan. He vaguely guessed what kind of family Du Mengnan came from. At the Safety Supervision Department, the middle-aged man showed his ID card. Du Mengnan and Zhao Xinyu passed the security check without any inspection at all. What shocked Zhao Xinyu even more was that there were only 11 people on the plane, a white-haired old man, one middle-aged man and 9 other cold-hearted middle-aged men. Like the two middle-aged men, their waists were also bulging. Zhao Xinyu, this is my grandfather. Hello, old man, I am Zhao Xinyu. Although he had guessed that the old man's identity was extraordinary, Zhao Xinyu did not panic, but was calmer than before. Zhao Xinyu's reaction made Du Gang stunned. Although the time was short, he had already investigated Zhao Xinyu when Du Mengnan went to pick him up. As Du Mengnan said, Zhao Xinyu came from a very ordinary background. The two brothers and their grandfather depended on each other. The brother Zhao Xinyu was uneducated and had no skills. Over the years, Zhao Xinyu's hard work and money were almost squandered by Zhao Xinyu, and his grandfather also had an accident some time ago. Passed away. Originally, he thought that Zhao Xinyu would definitely have the kind of flattery that he hated when he saw him, but he didn't expect that Zhao Xinyu was not humble and silent. This made him a little curious about Zhao Xinyu. What was he thinking? An old man would educate such a child. When Du Gang raised his eyes to look at the young man who made him curious, Du Gang's eyes suddenly shrank, and he saw the shadow of a person on Zhao Xinyu. Du Gang shook his head, his eyes fell on Zhao Xinyu again, and he was shocked in his heart. How could there be such similar people in this world? He immediately looked at his granddaughter Du Mengnan, and he couldn't help but feel sad in his heart. You are Zhao Xinyu, come and sit down, so I can tell you about your study of traditional Chinese medicine. When asking about Zhao Xinyu and his grandfather's study of traditional Chinese medicine, Du Gang also asked about Zhao Xinyu's life experience intentionally or unintentionally. When he heard that Zhao Xinyu and his younger brother Zhao Xinyu were both orphans raised by his grandfather, Du Gang felt an inexplicable feeling in his heart. However, after many storms, Du Gang's face remained the same despite the turmoil in his heart. Usual. Zhao Xinyu, what is your grandfather's name? Zhao Lu, but Grandpa said that is not his name. He said that the name is just a code name. Who can remember it after leaving the land? Du Gang nodded. I heard from Meng that your cooking skills and Chinese medicine were inherited from your grandfather, and Zui Linglong was also brewed by your grandfather. Yes. Since your grandfather has such a craft, why do you live your life? But at this time, Zhao Xinyu also smiled bitterly and shook his head. He sighed. Grandpa said that money is a poison that kills people, as long as they don't starve to death, so he never treats people, let alone let me show off my cooking skills and Chinese medicine. These words made Du Gang frown. Your brother should also. No, he didn't like these things since he was a child. He didn't learn anything, and Grandpa didn't force him. After saying this, Zhao Xinyu's eyes shrank and he looked at Du Gang. How did you know that I have a younger brother? Du Gang smiled lightly and said, there is a junior of mine over there at the First People's Hospital. He met your brother when I had the accident. Hearing what Du Gang said, Zhao Xinyu's face darkened. He had been exploited by his younger brother all those years, and he just thought that was what a brother should do. But that day in the hospital, Zhao Xinyu took the 50,000 yuan compensation regardless of family ties. At that moment, he was extremely disappointed with Zhao Xinyu. This time Grandpa had an accident. Although Grandpa said he fell, Zhao Xinyu didn't believe it. Moreover, Zhao Xinyu happened to be there those days, which made him even more suspicious. In addition, after Grandpa passed away, the villagers also called Zhao Xinyu. I called him, but he didn't come back, although his grandfather told him to take care of Zhao Xinyu before he died. At that time, he had completely despaired of this younger brother. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 47. The old man is not sick. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Seeing the change in Zhao Xinyu's expression and thinking about the results of the investigation into Zhao Xinyu, Du Gang also knew what Zhao Xinyu was thinking, and he did not continue to ask. The reason why Yanjing, the ancient capital of the 8 dynasties, was able to become the capital of the 8 dynasties was not only due to geography, but also because of the outstanding talents of the land. Up to now, most of the scenic buildings in Yanjing are left over from the Ming and Qing dynasties, and the ancient courtyard houses in the city are the objects of countless people's yearning. However, any courtyard house can easily cost hundreds of millions, and most people can only look forward to it, an ancient street. Although the street is not wide, it is different from the busy traffic in other areas. This street is very quiet. There is not even a car on the street. Every time a vehicle appears, it is a vehicle with a special brand. Occasionally, the people who appear on the street are middle-aged people who act uniformly. Zhao Xinyu, who was sitting in the car, saw such a street. He turned to look at Du Mengnan sitting next to him, with a trace of questioning in his eyes. Du Mengnan smiled, stretched out her jade hand and patted his big hand. Don't think too much, just like treating Yuma, Xiaoxi, and Xiaopeng. Zhao Xinyu sighed slightly in his heart. Although Du Mengnan didn't say it, he already knew in his heart that the person asking him to see a doctor was not an ordinary person. The car stopped and the middle-aged people who followed them went to a room after entering the compound. The only ones left with the old man were Du Mengnan, Zhao Xinyu, and the middle-aged man in his 50s. In a reception room from the past era, all the objects are as antique as the house. There are almost no products of modern technology in the reception room. There were 2 men and 1 woman sitting in the reception room at the moment. The 2 men were at least 60 years old, and the woman looked to be in her 40s. When Du Gang entered the door, the 3 of them stood up at the same time, their expressions full of respect. Uncle Du, have you brought the doctor you mentioned? The middle-aged woman asked with a hint of urgency. How is the old leader doing? As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the 3 people instantly dimmed. The situation is not optimistic, and they are in a deep coma. Du Gang sighed slightly and pointed at Zhao Xinyu, who was standing at the door holding a backpack. That's him, go in and take a look. The 3 of them were stunned at the same time, with a hint of surprise in their eyes. Uncle Du, you. Let's go take a look first. He is proficient in ancient Chinese medicine and has been studying Chinese medicine from his family elders since he was a child. Seeing Du Gang say this, the 3 of them looked at each other with bitterness in their eyes. Originally, they had ignited hope in their hearts after receiving the call, but now after seeing Zhao Xinyu, their newly ignited hope disappeared instantly. But think about how many well-known experts in Chinese and Western medicine have been here for so long, but there has been no effect. As long as there is a glimmer of hope for them, they will try their best to fight for it. Du Gang brought him here, but they knew that Du Gang would never be rash, and they were not certain that he would not bring over an unlearned young man. After understanding this, the three of them nodded and took the lead out of the reception room. Meng, you and Xiao Wang will wait here for a while. A large room full of medical equipment. On the hospital bed was a skinny old man with a light golden complexion lying quietly there. If his chest hadn't risen and fallen occasionally, no one would have thought that the old man was still alive. In the room, there were two nurses in their 50s who were checking the old man. An old man in his 70s was staring at an instrument with his brows knitted together, obviously encountering some difficulty. Hearing the sound of the door, the old man turned to look at the door. When he saw the three people coming in, there was a wry smile in his eyes. Dean Hu, how are you? That the old man shook his head. I have tried every method, and now. Instantly, there was a trace of sadness in the eyes of the three people. The older middle-aged man suddenly turned and looked at Zhao Xinyu who had followed him in. Little doctor, go and have a look. At this time, he had no choice. Zhao Xinyu nodded. He put his backpack in a corner, and walked to the bedside with the old man's doubtful eyes. The two nurses who had spread the news immediately stopped and exited. Zhao Xinyu pulled up a chair and sat down, took a deep breath, his eyes instantly became extremely clear, and he reached out and put his index finger on the old man's wrist. At this moment, everyone in the room shrank their eyes. They were not ordinary people. They all had a deep understanding of Chinese medicine, and pulse diagnosis by Chinese medicine was even more common. But Zhao Xinyu used one finger to diagnose the pulse, and they didn't say they had ever seen it before. I haven't even heard of it. After more than 20 minutes, Zhao Xinyu took his finger back and turned to look at the three middle-aged men and women. I'm afraid the old man has been sick for more than half a year. The three of them were stunned at the same time and looked at Du Gang, only to see Du Gang shaking his head. They all thought that Du Gang had said it, but from Du Gang they knew that Du Gang did not say it. 7 months. The old man likes drinking wine and growing flowers. These words shocked the three people even more. Only a few people knew about this matter, but how did this young man know it? Uncle Du and the others could trust it. If Du Gang told how long the old man had been ill, but this young man who drank alcohol and raised food could not believe it. The flowers have nothing to do with the illness, and Du Gang will definitely not say this. Yes. Xiao, are you? Because the old man's condition was serious, Du Gang really didn't dare to ask. Zhao Xinyu's eyes flickered for a few times and nodded. There is still a glimmer of hope, but the chance is not too high, only less than 40%. While speaking, Zhao Xinyu looked at the three middle-aged people, and the chance was obviously less than 40%. He must look at the wishes of the family members, but they didn't expect the three of them to nod in unison. They were already in despair, but now that they heard there was still 40% hope, how could they consider it? Young man, don't talk nonsense. What disease do you think the old man has? Dean Hu frowned and said, they have been looking for the cause of the disease since the old man became ill, but now they can't even find the cause, and the old man has fallen into a deep coma, which already makes them ashamed. Now this young boy, after diagnosing the pulse, did not even tell the cause of the disease, but said that he was 40% sure, which made the proud man unwilling to accept it at all. Zhao Xinyu smiled faintly and said, the old man is not sick at all, so there is no need to talk about the cause. Hoo, these words made the air in the ward freeze. Everyone was stunned. The old man was not sick, but fell into a severe coma. Who could believe this? Xiao, you can't talk nonsense. The old leader is not sick. How could he be like this? Zhao Xinyu looked at Du Gang and said, old man, he is really not sick. The reason why he is like this is because of his hobby. After saying this, Zhao Xinyu looked at the three middle-aged people who were still in a daze. The old man likes orchids very much. If my guess is correct, there should be a purple heart orchid in the old man's room, and there should be a purple heart orchid in the old man's room before he fell ill. Collected a white magnolia flower. As soon as he said this, the three people stayed there, their eyes full of disbelief. Not only others but also Du Gang knew about this matter, but this young man knew it by diagnosing his pulse. Luo Jiangwo, is what he said true? Du Gang asked, looking at the oldest middle-aged man. Luo Jiangwo nodded. Uncle Du, there is indeed a purple heart orchid in my father's room. He has been growing this flower for more than 30 years. Last year, Weiguo found a white magnolia from nowhere, but the orchid is as beautiful as the orchid. Zhao Xinyu chuckled. Purple heart orchids and white magnolias are the best orchids. Each one can be sold for a sky-high price. There will definitely be no problem with just one of them, but if two of them appear in the same place, there will be trouble. This statement made the people present even more confused. Orchids are loved by flower lovers, but I have never heard that raising orchids can cause people to fall into coma. Other orchids are fine when put together, but when purple heart orchids and white magnolias are put together, the fusion of floral fragrances will cause the orchids to breed a bug called orchid heartworm. Orchid heartworms may not be found even under a microscope. The orchid heartworm will not hurt people, but if nourished with the smell of alcohol, the orchid heartworm will mutate and become a heart-eating worm. When the heart-eating worm enters the human body, it will suck the blood and reproduce, without knowing it. In this case, the heart-eating worms will spread throughout all blood vessels, and when they eventually multiply in the brain, the person will be hopeless. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 48 Treatment and Law Enforcement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. If I predict correctly, the old man often felt tired and weak before the onset of the disease, but he felt refreshed after drinking alcohol. Although all the people present did not understand what the orchid heartworm and the heart-eating insect were, they did understand the last sentence. Luo Jiangwo and the 3 of them nodded in unison. That's what you said, little doctor. If we need to prepare anything, we will prepare it right now. A moment later, a piece of paper filled with Chinese herbal medicine was put into Luo Jiangwo's hand. When Luo Jiangwo saw the weight behind it, he couldn't help but be startled. Other traditional Chinese medicine pharmacies calculate by grams, but the prescription written by Zhao Xinyu is marked by kilograms. Little doctor, this is the recipe. While talking, Luo Jiangwo handed the prescription to Du Gang, who was also stunned after reading it. Zhao, how can this be judged by weight? Zhao Xinyu chuckled. It's true that they come by the pound. Just follow my prescription to get the medicine. Remember, it's best to choose natural and wild ones. In addition, the purple heart orchids and white magnolias in the old man's room will explode in the sun for 3 days. Hours later, use tea powder to soak in water and water it. Luo Jiangwo nodded and walked out of the room with the prescription. The middle-aged woman's eyes flickered a few times and said, Little doctor, should I use tiguanyin or dahongpo for the tea powder? Zhao Xinyu couldn't help but feel happy. Auntie, just use the most common tea powder on the street. It's a waste to use tiguanyin or dahongpo. Go quickly, Luo Yen, don't let that insect harm anyone. Du Gang said quickly. Luo Yen left in a hurry. Zhao Xinyu patted his head and looked at another middle-aged man. I am Luo Baoguo. I forgot just now. You should order a bamboo bed right away. It should be made of fresh purple bamboo. The legs should be 3 feet 3 feet. The bamboo should not be broken. There should not be any metal nails on it. Get a batch of dried purple bamboo and break it into pieces. 2-inch wide wooden strips, 1 foot long, and then find a 1.8 meter bamboo basin. Okay, Luo Baoguo said, and he immediately left the room. After seeing Luo Baoguo leave, Zhao Xinyu took out a box of silver needles from his backpack, looked at the 2 nurses who were still a little stupid, and said, Please take all those things off the old man's body. The nurse glanced at Dean Hu and saw him nodding, so the 2 of them took off the instruments from the old man. The next moment, the 4 people in the room felt a breeze blowing through the room. This made them all stunned. The door was tightly closed and the air conditioner was adjusted. How could there be wind? But the next moment, the 4 of them were shocked. In the time they were stunned, 9 silver needles appeared on the old man's head. A breeze blew again, and Zhao Xinyu flicked the tail of the needle at a very fast speed. The 9 silver needles made a buzzing sound, and then converged into a buzzing movement. Xiao Zhao. Du Gang's eyes narrowed slightly, but the next moment he stopped talking. The old man's breath, which was still vague just now, suddenly became stable. And there seemed to be something crawling in the bulging blood vessels on the old man's neck. However, after Du Gang and Dean, who saw this scene, their eyes were full of horror. At this time, Dean, who was also horrified, how could this unknown young man have such medical skills? Where did he come from, and why had he never heard of such a monstrous young man in the Chinese medicine world? He has been engaged in medicine for decades, and he doesn't know anyone who is famous in Western medicine or Chinese medicine, but now he just doesn't know where this young man named Zhao comes from. No one should touch the needle on the old man's head. After Zhao Xinyu finished speaking, he left the ward, and Du Gang followed immediately. At this moment, Zhao Gang was secretly glad that he listened to his granddaughter and brought Zhao Xinyu here this time. He even regretted it. If he had brought him here earlier, maybe the old leader would have recovered a long time ago. Several middle-aged people in the courtyard were carrying purple heart orchids and white magnolias out of a room. Du Mengnan didn't know what was happening, and looked at the busy people with confusion. When she heard movement behind her, Du Mengnan turned her head. After seeing it was Zhao Xinyu and her grandfather, she walked over quickly and said, "Zhao Xinyu, how are you?" "It's not bad, there is hope for treatment." While speaking, Zhao Xinyu looked around the hospital, seeming to be looking for something. In just over 10 minutes, Luo Jiangwo was the first to come back. Behind him was a middle-aged man carrying Chinese herbal medicine, and then Luo Baogua. "Little doctor, what should we do now?" Zhao Xinyu pointed to a chosen place and said, "Put the bamboo bed here." Then he poured all the Chinese herbal medicine into a large basin and washed it with water. The last time Zhao Xinyu put his hand in, and while turning over the Chinese medicinal herbs, space water poured continuously into the big basin. After adding up the large basins and placing them under the bed, Zhao Xinyu lit the bamboo strips he brought back and placed them under the large basins to heat them. At this time, Du Gang and others also understood Zhao Xinyu's intention. When the fragrance of bamboo filled the air, heat also filled the basin. Zhao Xinyu looked at Luo Jiangang and said, "Please find someone to carry Mr. Jiang out and put him on the bamboo bed. Don't touch the silver needle on the old man's head." Now Luo Jiangang and the others do not need to ask at all. They are allowed to direct Zhao Xinyu. They all know in their hearts that Zhao Xinyu can find out the cause of the problem that others cannot see. Perhaps except Zhao Xinyu, others have no way to do it. Can their father wake up? It all depends on this young man. The old man was carried to bed, and Zhao Xinyu asked Luo Baogua to add wooden strips. He took out the silver needle box from the room, keeping his eyes on the changes in the old man's body. As time went by, the pale golden skin began to change, and there was a trace of blood on it. The blood appeared, and everyone was shocked. They saw that the raised blood vessels seemed to be surging. In the end, except for the head, everywhere else was squirming, as if there was something underneath the old man's skin. When the old man's skin turned red, Zhao Xinyu looked at Luo Jiangwo. "There should be a bar at home, get a bottle of the worst. This is the only kind of wine at home, and this is a special wine." Zhao Xinyu couldn't help but shook his head and turned to look at Luo Yan and Du Mengnan. "I'm going to take off my old man's clothes later. You guys stay out of the way." Meng Meng called brother Jiang and asked him to take a jar of my drunken exquisiteness. "You guys can think of a way. Bring the wine before tomorrow." After the two left, Zhao Xinyu took off the old man's clothes, and then evenly applied the special wine on the old man's body. "Nurse, I will use acupuncture to force the heart-eating worms out of the blood vessels later. You will remove the heart-eating worms from the blood vessels. Wipe it off, throw it in that bucket, and remember to never let the heart-eating bugs get on your skin." After the two nurses were fully armed, Zhao Xinyu took a deep breath. While everyone was stunned, 108 silver needles were spread all over the old man's body in just a few breaths. As the breath on his body fluctuated, 108 silver needles made buzzing sounds one after another. In less than a minute, Luo Jiangwo and the others shrank their eyes. they saw a layer of blue stuff suddenly appearing on the old man's body. If one could not see clearly, it was now a layer of blue stuff, and the blue stuff that appeared seemed to be moving. Although the two nurses felt frightened, their professional ethics allowed them to be careful not to touch the silver needles, and they kept wiping away the blue substance that appeared, but less than 3 minutes after wiping, a layer of blue stuff would appear on the old man's body again. Wipe it clean again and reappear, but the blue color is getting lighter and lighter. In the end, if you don't look carefully, you can hardly see the blue color. During this period, Zhao Xinyu kept the silver needle trembling. After 9 times, Zhao Xinyu took a deep breath and waved his hand. Okay, cover the contents in the bucket with quicklime and process it in 2 days. He took the silver needle and said, okay, let's take the old man to take a bath. There is a room somewhere. I'll take a rest. As soon as Zhao Xinyu said these words, Luo Jiangwo and the others discovered that Zhao Xinyu was covered in sweat and his face was pale, as if he had just recovered from a serious illness. This made them dumbfounded. How could acupuncture produce such results? At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 49, All-Round Talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Luo Yan arranged for Zhao Xinyu to rest while the 2 brothers Luo Jiangwo and Luo Baogua and the middle-aged men cleaned up the yard. Before they could finish cleaning up, Dean who hurriedly ran out of the ward. His move shocked the 3 Luo Jiangwo brothers and sisters, and then their expressions suddenly changed. Dean Luo, what's wrong with my dad? It's amazing, Mr. Luo's vital signs have stabilized. The 3 brothers and sisters of Luo Jiangwo were shaken by the ups and downs. Excitement suddenly flooded their faces, and a layer of mist even appeared in the eye masks of the 3 brothers and sisters. Their parents worked hard to bring them up. No matter how old their father was, they still didn't want anything to happen to him. For more than half a year, what kind of life they lived every day was beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Luo Yan was even more undressed. They just wanted their father to stay with them for a while, even for 1 day, but they all knew that their father had entered a deep coma from a coma, but they were unwilling to mention it. It was because of this belief that they kept seeking medical advice. Up to now, the second among them, Luo Weigua, is still making his final push. The 3 of them walked quickly to the ward, but before they reached the ward, a heartbreaking cry came. The 3 of them turned around and saw a woman who looked like a rural woman. A woman who looked to be in her 60s threw away several bags she was carrying and ran towards them. Sister, why are you crying? Luo Baogua grabbed his eldest sister Luo Weigua, a little dumbfounded. Of course he knew what was going on with her eldest sister. She thought something had happened to her father. Luo Weigua pointed to the purple heart orchid and white magnolia in the courtyard. Dad hasn't left. Why did you move his most beloved orchids out? Thinking of what Zhao Xinyu said about the reason for his father's coma, the 3 of them looked strange for a moment. Luo Jiangwo smiled bitterly. Although this sister did not have much success in her career, she took care of her father's daily life. Compared to the one in front of her who looked like his sister, who is older than him, and the 3 siblings are really a bit incompetent. However, he did not hide anything in front of the big right and wrong, and told Luo Weigua everything Zhao Xinyu said. Luo Weigua stood there for a moment, his eyes full of regret and self-blame. Sister, we also know that you have 5 hearts. Even if it wasn't you, so many doctors wouldn't be able to tell. Fortunately, Uncle Du brought a little miracle doctor. Dad is much better now. I gonna go see. The old man was lying quietly in the ward, his breathing became steady, and the vital signs on the instrument were very stable, which made the 4 brothers and sisters breathe a sigh of relief. Brother, where is the little miracle doctor? I want to thank him in person. As long as he can make Dad better, I am willing to work for him. Weigua, Xiao Zhao will give his father acupuncture treatment. He is exhausted. He is resting now. When Luo Jiangwo said this, Luo Yan's eyes flickered a few times. Brother, it's strange to say that so many Chinese doctors have given my father acupuncture, but they all seem very relaxed. What's going on with Xiao Zhao? Luo Jiangwo smiled bitterly and shook his head. You saw it just now. He is very tired. I might have to ask Uncle Du what happened. In the reception room, Du Gang's face was full of smiles, and he brought Zhao Xinyu over to help the old leader turn the corner, which made him feel very comfortable. Uncle Du, how did you meet Zhao Xinyu? Du Gang pointed at Du Mengnan. That little guy is Meng's friend. I only met him for the first time in the morning. These words made the four Luo brothers and sisters look weird instantly, and they dared to bring him over to see their father for medical treatment when they met for the first time. Seeing the changes in the expressions of the four Luo brothers and sisters, Du Gang laughed. I'm telling you, don't look at his youth, this little guy. When Du Gang told everything he knew about Zhao Xinyu, the eyes of the Luo family brothers and sisters were full of surprise. They really didn't expect that there would be so many miracles in this young man. It is really unheard of for a young man to use Chinese medicine to restore himself to a normal state, and to help a child who has been to various hospitals and to help countless helpless children stand up again. Meng, is he your boyfriend? It's hard to find such a young man. Regardless of his poor background, just with this traditional Chinese medicine, he will be able to prosper in the future. Luo Weigua suddenly found the topic. Du Gang's eyes flickered for a few times. He thought of Zhao Xinyu's appearance, but he didn't think that Zhao Xinyu's background was bad. If it was as he speculated, this Zhao Xinyu's background was no worse than anyone present. Aunt Weigua, what are you talking about? We are just good friends. Du Mengnan, who had always been in high spirits, showed a girl's unique twist at this moment, and her pretty face turned red. Du Gang and Luo Jiangwo, who had been through it all, immediately understood that Du Mengnan really liked Zhao Xinyu, but they had not broken through this relationship yet. Zhao Xinyu didn't get up during lunch. Du Mengnan went to see Zhao Xinyu, who was sleeping soundly. Looking at Zhao Xinyu's slightly pale face, Du Mengnan had a trace of pity in his eyes. She is about the same age as her. She is proficient in traditional Chinese medicine and cooking, and can also grow delicious vegetables. She, who has always regarded herself as the proud daughter of heaven, is a little ashamed at this moment. She really can't figure out how this guy learned how to do it. He had learned so many things, but she knew very well that he must have suffered a lot when he was young. He slept until nearly night. Zhao Xinyu got up and washed up. When he arrived at the living room, he heard that Zui Linglong had been delivered to him. Zhao Xinyu couldn't help but sigh. If it was an ordinary person, he would definitely not be able to get it at this time. Medicinal wine. Xiao Zhao, I saw that you slept soundly at noon. We didn't call you. You are hungry now. Whatever you want to eat, I will do it. Although Luo Weigua saw Zhao Xinyu for the first time, because of his father's relationship, his words full of concern, Du Mengnan chuckled. Aunt Weigua, this guy is a master of cooking. The food he cooks is even inferior to that of the chef in my hotel. Zhao Xinyu was slightly startled, and then he looked at Du Mengnan. Du Mengnan immediately realized that he had let something slip, and he spat out his tongue at Zhao Xinyu, looking as cute as he could. Xiao Zhao is exhausted, let me do it. Zhao Xinyu laughed and said, Auntie, let me go. When Zhao Xinyu prepared the dishes, Luo Jiangang and the others looked at the dishes on the table. Their eyes were full of surprise. As Du Mengnan said, although the ingredients of each dish were ordinary, they were full of color, flavor and taste. Generally, chefs in hotels really can't do it. After tasting it, they were even more impressed. Young people are so good at cooking and proficient in Chinese medicine. Such young people are rarely seen in the real society. Uncle Jiangwo, these are also common ingredients. If they are made with the vegetables he grows, it will taste better, especially his stewed crucian carp. Speaking of stewed crucian carp, Mr. Du Gang couldn't help but swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. Xiao Zhao, you are stewing a few of them. It tastes really good. If you pair it with Zui Linglong, it will be a delicacy on earth. Uncle Du, if you want to eat, I will send someone to buy some pure wild crucian carp, Luo Weigua said with a smile. Tomorrow, let Zhao Xinyu barbecue and stew crucian carp for us tomorrow, Du Mengnan said with a smile. Zhao Xinyu felt helpless. This guy really didn't regard himself as an outsider. Even before he, the client, said anything, she made the decision for herself. Meng, all the heart-eating worms in the old man's body should be excreted tomorrow. Zui Linglong won't be able to use so much. Let's give it a try to everyone. As soon as he said this, Luo Jiangwo laughed and said, Zhao, I have the best special wine at home. I will get it for you right now and take some with you when you leave. Drunk Linglong, the special wine is far inferior to Zui Linglong. Du Gang immediately spoke. Du Mengnan took a jar back, and he himself was reluctant to drink it. How could he let go of drunk Linglong now that he had it for free? When Du Mengnan took off the lid and the wine mist filled the air, Luo Jiangwo and his sister were stunned for a moment, then turned to look at Zhao Xinyu. This wine. It was brewed by my grandfather, and the taste is quite good. The heart-eating bugs are formed by the mutation of the aroma of wine. They are particularly sensitive to the aroma of wine. It is easier to attract the heart-eating insects with drunken exquisite wine. Let me have a taste. Luo Jiangwo was the first to raise his glass and took a sip. Luo Jiangwo's eyes changed. When he put the glass down again, he stretched out his thumb at Zhao Xinyu. He also understood why Du Gang said that, at the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Chapter 50 Confusing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recite the Situ website silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. How about it? Have you ever drunk such a good wine? I'm not saying that Maotai, Wuliangya, and special wines can't be compared with Zui Linglong. I have lived a lifetime, and this Zui Linglong is the best wine I have ever drunk. Du Gang said with a sigh. After saying this, Du Gang thought of something. Zhao, I heard from Meng that you have a few more jars. How about selling them all to me? If you don't pay the price you said, I will give you 100,000 for each jar. Mr. Du, just buy it. If you like it, I can just give you a few jars when I go back. Okay, I have made you a friend. If it weren't for the 2 years age difference between us, I would have wanted to have sex with you. Uncle Du, this is a good suggestion. Isn't it time to talk about it again? Luo Weigua laughed, but after saying this, she saw that her brothers, sisters, and even Du Mengnan's expressions became extremely strange. She also thought about what they should call Zhao Xinyu and their Uncle Du if they had a relationship. You and Grandpa are not allowed to have sex with each other. Du Mengnan grabbed Zhao Xinyu and said coquettishly. Zhao Xinyu's face was full of helplessness. I didn't say anything either. Du Mengnan's face instantly burst into joy. That's right, don't even think about it. Zhao, the taste of this drunken exquisite wine is indeed very good. You can ask your grandfather to brew more, and there is no need to condense the wine mist. Even if it is just brewed, it will definitely be sold at a good price. Uncle Jiangwo, his grandfather has been driving him for more than 4 months, and there are not many left of this drunk Linglong. Du Mengnan's words made the restaurant quiet for a moment, and everyone couldn't help but sigh. There is only one grandpa who depends on each other, and now. It's not that Zui Linglong can't be brewed. I'll brew some when I have time. You can also make wine. Du Mengnan stretched out his hand to hold Zhao Xinyu again, looking at Zhao Xinyu with burning eyes. Yes, if you give up, I will help my grandpa make wine. When I was 14 years old, I brewed all the drinks my grandpa drank. We will cooperate when we go back. I will find the factory and you will be responsible for the preparation. Zhao Xinyu chuckled. Zui Linglong is purely hand-brewed. Grandpa said that there are medicinal wines that have been machine-processed and have lost their original flavor, so they cannot be produced at scale. The cost of finding a factory is too high. Besides, what do you think about me over there in the compound? Can leave. Well, if you brew it, give it to me first. Zhao Xinyu chuckled and said, sure. Although he said that and he could really brew Zui Ling Long, he knew that even if he wanted to brew it now, there would be no place at all. The next day was the same procedure. When Zhao Xinyu took the silver needle off the old man's body, the old man's skin already had a trace of blood, and then Zhao Xinyu rested exhausted. While waiting for lunch, good news came from the ward. The old man, who had been in a coma for more than half a year, woke up and his body functions were slowly recovering. This meant that the old man was now weak and had no other problems. He only needs to be nursed back to health, and the old man will be back to his original state within a few days. What makes the Luo brothers and sisters even more happy is that the old man's minor problems in the past have completely disappeared, and his life characteristics are more vigorous than before. In other words, if nothing happens to the old man, it will not be a problem for him to live for another 10 or 8 years. The Luo brothers and sisters were happy that their father woke up. Now that their father was in better health than before, they were relieved of the gloom of the past. Luo Jiangwo, Luo Baogua, and Luo Yan also criticized Luo Weigua's food when they were eating, saying that Luo Weigua's food was not as good as Zhao Xinyu's, which made Luo Weigua a little crazy. She has been cooking for her father for more than 20 years. In the past, she always praised the delicious food she cooked. Fortunately, now she just ate Zhao Xinyu's meal and was picky. She was a little doubtful whether these three were her brother and sister. When Zhao Xinyu came out of the room at night, he saw the Luo brothers and sisters. In the past, they were worried about disturbing the old man, but now that the old man was fine, they finally dared to come over. Of course, Zhao Xinyu accepted the most polite thanks from the Luo family and got to know everyone in the Luo family. Zhao Xinyu went to the old man's ward. In the ward, Du Gang was chatting with the old man. When Zhao Xinyu entered the ward, he looked at the old man, and the old man also looked at him. When the four doors faced each other, Zhao Xinyu smiled and nodded to the old man, but he didn't expect the old man's expression to change instantly. This made Zhao Xinyu stunned. Old man, what's wrong with you? Du Gang patted the old man's chest several times and said, old leader, don't get excited. The old man calmed down and his face slowly recovered. Please call me Zhao Xinyu. Come and sit here. This time, I really want to thank you for bringing me back from hell. Zhao Xinyu first checked the old man's pulse and said, old man, you will be fine after you rest for a while. I will make you a pot of medicinal food. You will feel more energetic after eating it. Don't worry yet. Let's talk. While chatting, Zhao Xinyu found that the old man told him almost the same things as Du Gang and asked about things about his childhood or grandfather. But I have to ask Grandpa more often. Xinyu, I don't know if you have a photo of your grandfather. I want to see what kind of old man can cultivate an outstanding grandson like you. Zhao Xinyu smiled bitterly. He took out his mobile phone and found a very blurry photo in it. Grandpa, I don't like taking pictures. This was when I was 5 years old. I begged my grandpa to take pictures, so I only have this one. The blurry photo shows an old man wearing a bloated cotton-padded coat and trousers holding a child. The old man's cotton-padded coat and trousers are a bit tattered. I don't know if it's because I haven't washed my face for a long time or something, or if I left it on for too long. My face is very blurry. The old man and Du Gang looked carefully several times. Their eyes kept flickering, and there was a hint of excitement in their eyes. Although they could not see the old man's face clearly, they could see their familiar shadows on his figure. Xinyu, when is your birthday? May 18th, but I don't know if it is my real birthday. Grandpa told me my birthday. Where's your grandpa? Zhao Xinyu sighed slightly. Grandpa never celebrated birthdays. He said he would celebrate birthdays when he got old, and he only celebrated one birthday in several years, but that's okay. The two looked at each other, and fluctuations appeared in their eyes again. Xinyu, didn't you say yesterday that you were going to cook barbecue and stew cushion carp for everyone? Everything is ready over there. I will stay with the old leader here. After Zhao Xinyu left, Du Gang looked at the old man and said, Old leader, Xinyu's grandfather is brother Zhao Polu. The old man nodded with a complicated expression. Although the photo is blurry, I can recognize it. What's more, Brother Zhao Polu said that his birthday is February 29th. He has celebrated his birthday several times, but that's okay. Unexpectedly, Brother Polu did not pass away, but was cultivating Xinyu in the countryside. How could I not have heard of Guo before? Brother Polu also knew Chinese medicine and cooking skills. Old leader, would you like to call the Meng family? Xinyu is most likely a lost child of the Meng family. The old man sighed. At first, the eldest brother, Meng Lai, and Jiao Meng were the iron triangle that many people envied. But the Meng Jiao family suddenly turned against each other. First, Meng Lai's eldest son, Meng Feihu, and his family were attacked, and the surviving son was also unknown. At that time, everyone suspected that it was the Jiao family. Then Jiao Meng's second son, Jiao Deming, was killed in an attack, and his newborn son also disappeared. This caused the two families to be at odds with each other, and they never interacted with each other until they died. Later, he met Polu. The suicide note left by the eldest brother means that there will no longer be an iron triangle in the world. The child Ru Xinyu is indeed Meng Lai's lost grandson, but why was he taken away and adopted by the eldest brother Polu? What would Meng Lai think about this? Think clearly. Du Gang's eyes narrowed slightly. Old leader, you are saying that the original incident had the shadow of Brother Polu. Brother Polu won't do it, but there must be a reason. Otherwise, Brother Polu wouldn't hide in a mountain village and live incognito. By the way, Brother Polu has also adopted a grandson, shouldn't he? Who? Du Gang took a deep breath, and there was a trace of horror in his eyes. If this was really what he had guessed, what happened in the first place would have forced Polu, whom they respectfully called the god of war, to feign death to avoid. Thinking of this, Du Gang looked at the old man, but saw that there was also a trace of worry in the old man's eyes. Two families had troubles one after another, and the troubles targeted the children with the eldest grandson. No one else was spared, but only the child was missing. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises.